China is known in the West as a land of mystery, censorship, human rights abuses, and pollution. It also happens to be the location of the 2009 Reynolds band trip. During the course of this trip, I was hoping to get a glimpse of what China was really like, outside of the media filter. Beijing is the capital of China, and it has a population of nearly 7 million people. Beijing became China's capital city in 1421 and has remained the center of government ever since. The streets of Beijing turned out to be quite different from what I expected. Although traffic was abysmal at times and the sidewalks were very crowded, pedestrians and motorists followed the rules of the road. This led to very smooth traffic flow. Our hotel was almost enough to change the average Westerner's opinion of China by itself. The Luang Palace is a 5-star hotel that really raises the bar when it comes to traveling abroad. The Spotless complex not only contains a pool, but a squash court, bowling alley, and even a sauna. And I can safely say that this is much better than any Western hotel I've ever stayed at. China's Great Wall was built in 210 BC and stretches some 2,400 kilometers. The wall's steep steps are almost deadly at times, and climbing the wall can easily become an all-day event. It's not until you're at least part-way up the structure that you can really appreciate the sheer size of it. Originally built to protect Beijing from invaders, the Great Wall has now become one of Beijing's ultimate tourist traps. Of course, on a day like today, the smog makes it difficult to see anything. The infamous Beijing pollution is something else entirely. There were times during our tour of the city that I found myself wondering where the sun was. I guess after 5 hours of breathing the Beijing air, I now have the lungs of a chain smoker. It's no wonder the average Beijinger finds themselves wearing a mask. It would be hard to live without. Of course, our stay in China wasn't limited to the relative peace of Beijing. Our next destination was Zhangzhou, the capital of Hunan province. Zhangzhou is the quintessential China that we all see through the filter of the global media. For the most part, Zhangzhou is a city that has definitely seen better times. In fact, from my hotel room, it was possible to see an abandoned building that a group of homeless had set up a shelter in. During the morning hours, people looted through the rubble surrounding the ruins. Education in China is a serious business. Whenever our tour buses arrived at a school, we experienced the same rigid routine. The buses were met by a student entourage, and we were treated to a very official tour of the school. At times, government officials even tagged along to make sure everything was up to par. One thing that did impress me about China's schools was their extremely successful English program. Almost every student we were exposed to was able to carry on a conversation in English without too much trouble. It seems that the next generation of Chinese is being prepared for a better future than the current population. Trains are by far the most popular method of travel in China. I was made aware of this in my trip from Zhangzhou to Xi'an. The railway terminals in both cities were packed with weary travelers eager to get to their destinations. Probably the major reason why trains are so popular in China is that they're so cheap. 6 of us were stuffed into a small railway car that was in a state of disrepair. We were given blankets of questionable cleanliness and expected to sleep on rickety mattresses. Let's just say that I was rather happy to arrive at our final destination. China may be governed by a party that calls themselves communist, yet this is one of the most capitalist nations on earth. Every factory has a tour, and all these tours end in gift shops. The gift shops are connected to restaurants, and most of these establishments are owned by the government. China has no universal health care, and in fact, education is not even free. One thing is for certain, if China wants to be taken seriously by the rest of the Western world, they've got to do a lot to clean their act up. For iNet, this is Christopher reporting.